In a kingdom far away between the clouds and stars, there was a magical forest inhabited by wondrous creatures, the most famous of which was the unicorn, the horse with the shining horn. The unicorn was brave and kind-hearted, helping everyone without hesitation. One day, the unicorn heard about a lost kingdom beyond the Emerald Mountains, which was once full of life, but disappeared due to a mysterious curse. The unicorn decided to search for it, to help its inhabitants and restore its luster. The unicorn began his journey, and on the way he encountered a dense and dark forest. The trees were tall and dense, and strange sounds filled the place, which made him feel afraid. But he remembered his mother's words. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to face it. He took a deep breath and said to himself, I will not let fear stop me from achieving my goal. He walked slowly, using the light of his horn to light the way until he safely reached the banks of a wide river. Suddenly, he heard the rustling of leaves and felt a quick movement behind him. He turned quickly, only to find bright eyes watching him from among the bushes. There was a little wolf, trembling with fear. The unicorn approached him and asked gently, What are you doing here all alone? The wolf answered with a trembling voice, I lost my way from my family, and I don't dare return through this scary forest. The unicorn smiled and said, I was scared too, but we are stronger than we think. The wolf gently grabbed his tail and led him safely out of the forest, where he found his family waiting anxiously for him. At the river, he found a little turtle trying to cross it, but couldn't because of the strong current. Some other animals stopped at the bank, but didn't help. The unicorn felt sad to see the turtle struggling alone, so he approached it gently and said, Don't worry, I'll help you. He bent down carefully for the turtle to climb onto his back, then swam with it until he reached the other bank. After arriving safely, she smiled at him and said, Thank you! I wish everyone was like you! She told him about a secret bridge behind the trees that led to the lost kingdom. As he walked towards the bridge, he saw a monkey trying to collect some fruits from a tall tree but couldn't reach them. The monkey laughed and said, If I had wings like yours, I would have gotten my food easily. The unicorn thought for a moment, then said, I can help you in another way. The unicorn stood up, and the monkey stood on his back and was able to reach the fruit. The monkey jumped with joy and said, You helped me! I will return the favor! He gave him an old map that showed the shortcut to the lost kingdom. At the bridge, he found a small injured bird. Its wings were injured and it couldn't fly. The unicorn looked at it sadly and said, I can't leave it like this! So he gathered some medicinal herbs that his father had taught him to heal, and gently wrapped the bird's wings with them. He said, Rest a little, and you will get better soon. After some time, the bird began to flap its wings and said, Thank you! I will never forget your kindness! Then it flew high to explore the way and returned to tell the unicorn where the kingdom was. On its way to the kingdom, the unicorn found a little rabbit trapped inside a deep hole. The rabbit was jumping, trying to get out, but couldn't. The unicorn thought for a while. Then it stretched out its tail to the rabbit and said, Hold on tight! The rabbit clung to its tail and jumped out of the hole and said gratefully, I will never forget your kindness, unicorn! Then it jumped away happily. Finally, the unicorn arrived at the kingdom, only to find it surrounded by a fence of black thorns. It felt sad to see the people inside the kingdom living in fear and loneliness because of the curse that had befallen them. Remembering that the curse was due to hatred and selfishness, it decided to spread love among them. It gathered the children and the elderly and began to tell them stories of cooperation and friendship, and asked them to help each other. In one corner of the kingdom, it found a little girl crying alone. Why are you crying? He asked her gently. Everyone here is afraid and doesn't trust each other, she said. The unicorn smiled and said, But we can change that! He gave her a golden flower, saying, Give this flower to anyone who needs a friend, and you will see how things change. The people began to help each other, and each act of kindness brightened up a part of the kingdom. With each act of kindness they did, the fence grew weaker and weaker until it vanished completely, and the kingdom was once again bright with color and life. Everyone was happy and thanked the unicorn, who had learned that courage, cooperation, and friendship were the keys to success and happiness.